This week's episode of English User TV is brought to you by Fancorp English Solutions, communicating with the world. Hello and welcome to episode 6 of English User TV. Today's show we are going to bring you restaurant talk. So we will be bringing you dialogues and vocabulary that you will need to talk or use in a restaurant. My name is Carl Pauline. I am the host of this week's show, and this week I'm afraid we have no live video feed as I still haven't sorted out the sound problem that we had last week. It was a bit of an experiment. I will sort out the sound problem and eventually we will have a live video feed. Okay, so in today's show we have restaurant talk, dialogues. We of course have expression of the week, website of the week, podcast of the week, and this week's to-do list. So without any further delay, let's get started with our first restaurant talk dialogue. Okay, as I said, this week's episode is all to do with restaurant talk. So we're going to start off with the first dialogue, and there you go. Excuse me. Right, let me first set the picture. This particular dialogue is how to order food. And so the situation is you're sat in the restaurant looking at the menu, and now you are ready to order. So how do you get the waiter's attention? Very simple. You say, "Excuse me." I would advise stick your hand in the air. Put your hand up in the air and just catch the waiter's eye or waitress's eye and say, "Excuse me." Now, there is a very, very important rule to remember here. Please, please never, never click your fingers. Never, ever do that. That is a very, very rude gesture in Western countries, in English-speaking countries, in many European countries. So, excuse me, and stick your hand in the air, and the waiter or waitress would like to say, "Yes, sir, madam," if you're a woman. And you say, "I'm ready to order," or "We're ready to order" if there's more than one of you. So, "I'm ready to order. What would you like?" "I'll have the mushrooms for starter." Now, in many textbooks, you will see this as entrees or starter you'll see as entrees. But entree is very rare, and I've never really heard it used. Even in America, starter is more common. So starter is probably a better word to use than appetizer. So I'll have the mushrooms for starter. Okay, and for your main course, I'll have the steak. How would you like your steak? And remember, I think most of you guys out there, if you've ever had steak before, you can choose the way you have your steak cooked. So, how would you like your steak? And when we do the vocabulary, I'll explain the different ways of being able to have your steak. So, excuse me, don't forget, stick your hand in the air and try and catch the waiter or waitress's eye. "Yes, sir, madam. We're ready to order." Okay, what would you like? "I'll have the mushrooms for starter." Okay, and for your main course, "I'll have the steak." How would you like your steak? This is a this is a really good dialogue, and it's happening every day around the world. So there you go. Okay, so there you go. That's dialogue number 1. "Excuse me." "Yes, sir, madam. I'm ready to order. What would you like?" "I'll have the mushrooms for starter." Okay, and for your main course, "I'll have the steak." How would you like your steak? And in a moment, I will explain that. So let's get let's get cracking. Let's move on to the vocabulary, and I'll be able to explain what it means when you say, how would you like your steak? Okay, so let's move in with the vocabulary now. First of all, as I mentioned before, appetizer is starter, entree or entree is main course. And here's another one for you, and it only occurred to me when I was writing this episode of English User TV. Gâteau. Gâteau is the French word, I guess, for cake. So if you want chocolate cake, you'll probably find it on the menu as chocolate gâteau. Gâteau. So remember that gâteau is cake. Okay, now when it comes to steak, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways of being able to have your steak cooked. Blue is pretty much 10 seconds either side. Really, just 10 seconds either side. So the chef will put the steak in the hot pan for 10 seconds one side, turn it over, 10 seconds the other side. That's it. So basically, it's not cooked in the middle, only cooked on the outside. Rare is, I'm not sure how many seconds. It could be 30 seconds either side. It might even be a minute either side. But again, it is generally quite red in the middle. Then we have medium rare, which again is a little bit longer than rare. Medium rare, you'll probably find the middle of the steak is very red. Medium, you'll probably find this steak is pink, so it's beginning to get cooked. Medium to well done is, again, a little bit pink right in the middle of the meat, but generally it's cooked all the way through. And finally, well done. Well done means that the steak is almost burnt. It'll certainly look burnt on the outside, and it'll be very, very well cooked in the middle. So there you go. There are 6 different ways in Western countries. There are 6 different ways that you can have your steak cooked. Blue, which is very, very red and bloody in the middle. Rare, which is a little bit red in the middle. Medium rare, pink in the middle. Medium, very, very tiny amount of pink. Medium well done. Again, generally cooked all the way through. And well done, where it's actually burnt, if you like your steak well done. Personally, I like medium rare. But there you go. So I would suggest that you have a look at those, maybe write them down and try and remember them, because you will get asked those questions when you're traveling around in the world. Okay, so there you go. That was dialogue number 1 and its vocabulary. Let's move on to this week's website of the week. Okay, this week's website of the week is www.tolearnenglish.com. I had a look at this website earlier this week, and again, it's like pretty much all the other websites that I've given you over the last 5 weeks, and that is, it has pretty much everything that you would want from an English learning website. This particular website is updated almost every day and would give you lots of exercises to do and lots of little things that you can do to help you learn and remember English. One of the funniest things that I'm finding is, as the weeks go by, it's becoming more and more difficult to find really, really good websites. But this one really stood out. It is a very, very good website to learn English from. So try it out or check it out. www.tolearnenglish.com. A really, really good website of the week. And hey guys, while I'm on talking about website of the week, if you guys have any special websites that you have that you use regularly, please feel free to email them to me at eutv@fundcorp.com. That email address is in our show links and also at the end of this show. So if you know of any websites that are really, really good, please email them to me at eutv@fundcorp.com. That email address, as I said, is at the end of this show. Okay, let's move on now and go into Dialogue 2.